Spurs, Liverpool, United in the top 4. I'd love that. That'd be.
A few people have got United in there now, Terry. So
I know a few people have.
It's not. You're not as far off it. You're not as far off as you think.
Quick question here: top 4 managers in the league. We going Pep
right
Klopp.
now.
Yeah, Pep Klopp, Conte, Ten Hag.
Ten Hag is 4th.
Yeah,
I'll put Ten Hag over Arteta. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'd say that's right.
Wait,
yeah.
would you put Ten Hag up?
Yeah, because
he's
actually achieved something. He's actually achieved trophies. Like,
yeah.
Arteta got the FA in his back pocket.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is Ten Hag's been able to do it with a fantastic Ajax team. Let's see how he does it at Manchester United. Right now, I'd say him and Arteta on the same level.
You can't. I hear what you're saying, but
he's already been back. So
at the end of the day, the manager.
No. I'm just saying him and Arteta right now are in the same level in the Premier League. Let's see what. Actually, Arteta's won stuff in the Premier League. He's won an FA Cup. Let's see what Ten Hag can do in the Premier League.
So one FA Cup makes him better manager than Ten Hag all of a sudden.
I never said he's better. I said
you're shaking your head though. We talk about who's the currently best managers.
But the way you guys are making it seem is like, oh, he's just better.
So it shouldn't be the hardest job to come forth then, guys.
How do you judge a manager really? Like honestly, like I can get it. Some managers don't win anything. Like Graham Potter hasn't really won much in football, but I rate him. I even rate him more than Arteta. How about that? But I can judge them on that level because there's not much that separates them in terms of trophies won. That's it.
If you rate a manager more, surely they can finish higher in the table. Then, no. If you rate Ten Hag as a top 4 manager in the Prem, then surely because a great manager.
Brendan Rodgers. 1 second, Brendan Rodgers won more trophies than Ten Hag's, Arteta, and all these guys, but no one's considering.
Hang on, Brendan Rodgers has won more trophies.
He won the FA Cup, man. That's it.
He won at Celtic. How many trophies did he win at Celtic? He won way more than thing.
Okay, and that's a fair point. He won a lot of league titles in a one-horse race. The Rangers weren't even back in the league when he was winning there. So there's no team in. So that's not true, is it? Because when Ten Hag took over at Ajax hadn't won a league title in a number of years. If Brendan Rodgers took over Celtic when another team was dominating and got Celtic back to dominating, it would be a fair comparison. But for me, winning a one-horse race, I mean, literally, as soon as Rangers got kicked out of the Scottish League, it went from being a 2-horse race to a 1-horse race, and there's not much in that. I mean, but you could argue. The question is for you: do you think Brendan Rodgers is better than Ten Hag and Arteta?
No, but if we're judging them based off trophies,
but that wasn't the only reason people are judging Ten Hag. I'm asking you: is Brendan Rodgers better than Arteta and Ten Hag as a manager?
No, he's not, and he hasn't been at Leicester. But what he same as Steven Gerrard. People were judging these guys based on their trophies won at other clubs. When Steven Gerrard came to the Premier League, people were saying he's a better manager than Arteta.
The only people that were doing that were Liverpool fans. The Liverpool fans still defending it. No.
Yes,
Liverpool fans were. I put a video out the other day saying that Gerrard's a fraud. Every Villa fan that interacted with it said you're bang on. The only people defending him were Liverpool fans. It's so funny. He's making me laugh.
Listen, I'm just trying to debunk this whole thing about trophies. If trophies the only thing that matters, Brendan Rodgers has more trophies than what do you call it? Arteta. He has more trophies than majority of the managers outside of. I
don't think it's on trophy. No one said it's just on trophy. I think when you look at Ten Hag and you look at Arteta, Ten Hag's won 3 league titles and he's won 2 FA Cups, if you want to call it that. But he's also had very good runs on a shoestring budget in the Champions League. He's Champions League proven. Arteta's not managed a team in that. He hasn't. So I think if you weigh up style of football, experience in the game, trophies won, Champions League experience, I think it would be a fair shout to say that Ten Hag is ahead of Mikel Arteta. I think it's a fair shout to say that when you look at all those elements that are involved. I'm not saying it has to be the case. He is better, but I think you've got to make an argument as why Arteta has got more experience and achieved more across all those metrics.
Hey, Ten Hag has more experience. You guys can put him ahead of there. But I just think right now, let's see how he does in the Premier League and let's judge them based on what they do in the Premier League.
So do you agree or disagree with the comment, Agal?
I don't generally disagree, but I'm just saying this whole thing where it's not even a debate, it's not even a conversation, he's just fourth. That's where I'm disagreeing. That's it.
But no one said that.
No one said that.
I applied the logic as to why people would say he's better. Your job, you think he isn't. So why is Arteta's experience better than Champions League semi-finalist, 3 league titles, 2 FA Cups, Dutch equivalents, style of football, like all these things? What is it that makes Arteta better than him as an overall manager, in your opinion?
And just
I
before you
wasn't
start,
saying he was better, Terry.
So answer the question. Who is better in your opinion, Arteta or Ten Hag?
I think Ten Hag has a better career than Arteta. He's had a better career than
That's
Arteta.
oh my God. If Ten Hag had 3 years, in my opinion,
One second. I think he's had a better career than Arteta. We don't know. We can't change their shoes. But based on what he's achieved more than Arteta. If you want to do it based on achievements, hence why I brought in Brendan Rodgers.
Okay, but that isn't the question. We're not saying better career, but who is the better manager in your opinion? Ten Hag or Arteta? Answer the question straight.
We will find out.
No, answer the question. I want your opinion, Gal. I want your opinion.
No,
I'm
that's
gonna
my
be.
opinion.
But that's not an opinion. That's not.
My opinion
Gal,
is-
right now, you have an answer, and you know what the answer is. Just say it.
What's the answer?
I don't know. You know, it's in your head.
No. You think you know my answer, but what's the answer?
There's no way. Hang on, guys. So in
Mine's actually dead.
right now in your head, you like everyone listening and everyone on the panel, you believe one of them is better than the other. We all do. We all have an opinion on who we think the overall better manager is. I want to hear who you think.
Hey, I told you. We'll wait and see.
You're here to give opinions. You're here to give opinions.
Terry, my opinion is that I generally think it's not as close. It's not as far as everyone thinks it is.
No one's saying it's far. I think it's really, really close. I agree. It's really, really close.
I think Mikel Arteta and all these other managers that you guys are pinning against him, based on the fact that it's his first job, you're disregarding him in this conversation. And I think with a lesser squad, with less talent, with less everything, he's still being put in those same conversations. So personally,
the question. Sorry, Gal, I'm not letting you do that. I'm not letting you wriggle off the hook on this one. The question was top 4 managers. So nobody's disrespecting him. The question was, who are the top 4 managers?
Since Thomas Tuchel got sacked,
yes.
I think Mikel Arteta is the 4th.
So you think Mikel Arteta is a better manager than Ten Hag?
At this moment in time, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's gonna prove me.
Just said it. You literally just said it.
You said it. You said it.
I'm gonna be. Can I say something now? Yeah. If Ten Hag had 3 years with Arsenal currently, I reckon he does a much better job than what Arteta is currently doing, which I think he's done a good job. I just think Ten Hag, because he's got more experience. And when Ajax weren't winning, when he took over them, brought them to be winning side, by the way, not just on the Dutch front, but also doing successfully for their standards in the Champions League for as much as little as they do have, which you also compare, that Arsenal don't have much going on. So on that note, I feel like if Ten Hag had 3 years currently like he done, like Arteta has, I reckon he does a lot better of the job. I don't think he finishes where you did last year either, because then we would be talking about how sick Ten Hag is as a manager. But I'm not discrediting Arteta, because I said it, I quite like Arteta. I just don't think he's currently a better manager just due to CV and things that surround it.
Understand my point, though. My point was, we are taking everything he's done at the Eredivisie with Ajax, and yes, he's done great getting to a Champions League run and everything else. But then we're completely discrediting what Steven Gerrard has done before he came to the Premier League. We're discrediting what Brendan Rodgers has come before he came to the Premier League. And you guys will say Mikel Arteta is a better manager than those two. So hence, why is it that when we compare him to Ten Hag,
I don't know if people would. I don't know. Right now, Brendan Rodgers and Leicester are in a really bad space. But 18 months ago, if you'd have said who's a better manager, Brendan Rodgers or Mikel Arteta, people would have probably said Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah,
I don't think, by the way, I don't think Brendan Rodgers is a world-class manager. However, Brendan Rodgers goes to another club next month. Don't be surprised if that team for a 3 or 4 year period becomes really good again. Does that make sense? And by the way, like he only won 2 premierships in fairness with Celtic, and he was there 3 or 4 years. But I get your point. But like, it's just a question around who you think is better. And we are talking in the here and now. We're not saying who's had the best career. We are talking in the moment, and obviously stocks go up and down. But I think top 4. I think Ten Hag's in the equation. I think you could argue Mikel Arteta is there or thereabouts, but I think winning league titles is something you have to have on your CV. But then it depends who else you're up against, And right now we know the top 3 is obviously Klopp, Pep, and Antonio Conte. And this season, sorry,
Potter won a league title with Ossisons. He's in there too, right?
Well, it's again, but then you've got to manage the quality.
He's ahead of Arteta now too, because he won a league title.
But you're being sort of very facetious, which is intriguing. No, because what you're doing is you're taking one element that we've said about Ten Hag and you're applying it as the complete. It's a bit like when we turn around and say, I think Scholes has had a better career than Gerrard because he's won more league titles. And then people go, oh, you're saying that Luke Chadwick's better. No, because we're talking about two world-class players being compared to each other. We're not saying everybody with the league title is better than Steven Gerrard. I'm not saying every manager who's won a league title in any country in the world is better than Mikel Arteta. You're taking it to the nth degree and creating a straw man argument. What we're asking for is who you think's better. And you've answered it in. I know you think Mikel Arteta is better. And I know you think he's going to prove it this year. By the way, we'll have some people that will argue that even if you finish above Man United this year, Ten Hag's still better. It's going to take him time to cook and create his team and everything else. But there we go. It's an interesting question. We have some more super chats still. We weren't even done. Alienator here says City first, Spurs second, United third, Arsenal fourth. That's a big, bold prediction. I wouldn't mind that being true, to be fair, to a degree. I don't want City winning 3 on the bounce, but I still prefer them to win than Liverpool.